I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
Yes, TD Jakes, I have been swallowed, okay? I am swallowed up in having to do this. I don't want to do this. Guys, I've been dragging my ass making this review because I told you I did not, and I do not, like to rag on Tower of God. I love this series to death. But I gotta preface this with a whole lot of context before I cook. So please, if you love the series, you don't like to hear criticism, and you don't like reviews, skip this video, okay? If you one of those people who like lore and enjoy it just for the enjoyment, you are not going to like this review, because I'm going to be cleanly honest about it, okay? This is not the worst chapter of the year. It's just buildup of things that have happened. A little bit about me, right? I have a degree in filmmaking, okay? My hardcore focus when I was in school was artistic writing, creative writing, and script writing, okay? Those were the classes I went the hardest in because it was my goal. And I worked in it for a couple years before COVID happened and things changed. But regardless, I need you guys to understand, I look at things very, very narratively and in between the space of the average reader and somebody who knows how to write, okay? I have plenty of scripts in my email, dozens that I've written myself, okay? I was top of my class for writing scripts and creative writing, so I know what it takes to craft a story, okay? Now, do I know what it takes to craft a story week to week? Absolutely not. But again, you have time to plan these things out. That is kind of the purpose. I know what it takes to make a story good. I know how to make an audience feel good. I'm not saying I'm a top tier Hollywood writer, guys. That's not what I'm saying. But I understand the concepts. When you take these courses and you spend your time learning these things, you understand a certain way of doing things, okay? This is why me and Naya, like, I haven't done a stream with him, but I like to listen to him because he's an author and he understands what it takes to write a story and keep it engaging and keep being consistent and setting a tone and setting a mood and setting a theme. He understands all these setting beats. With that being said, my biggest problem with the latest chapters and with this last one is the inconsistency, okay? Now, a lot of it is power scaling. Power scaling is power scaling. Like, it can be incorrect, and it is an issue because we spent years building a system that seems to not matter anymore, okay? That's a whole nother discussion, and maybe I'll make a separate video for it if you guys want it, but I'm talking purely from a narrative perspective that kind of ties into power scaling. So, to me, execution is the most important thing, okay? You can have a fantastic story, but execute things poorly, which in turn makes the story trash, okay? Like, for instance, I think that Percy Jackson is a very good series. However, the movie production was not that good, and that's an opinion. But these things in entertainment exist to be critiqued, okay? That's how the world works, okay? You taste food, you like it, you give your opinion on it. Okay, you watch a movie, you like it, you give your opinion on it, okay? So, what I'm saying is, the execution of these power-ups have been bad. Do I think the power-ups themselves are bad? No, and I'm gonna say that again. The power-ups themselves are not bad. I don't think the Coon spell this chapter was bad. The execution of it is bad. I don't think Rack's power-up that started this entire thing was bad. The execution of it is bad, okay? For example, if Rack did this transformation in another serious situation, let's just say maybe after they got off the train, or when Bomb fought Caliban, okay? If Rack was there, and Rack was in the fight, and he watched Bomb get pierced to the point where he looks like he's about to die, before Van Kill even gets there, if Rack transforms then to fight a high ranker like Caliban, and somebody who has a history, like Evankel, who may know things, can drop a little bit of knowledge about what we're seeing. And if she would be the one to even subdue him, that would have been lit. Okay? That would have been lit. And then even if we got that and we hadn't seen Rack's form all the way up until now, that would have been fantastic, guys. But the biggest problem is that if we went 7 years without Rack having anything, okay? The Coon thing this chapter. So here's another thing, right? When you're crafting a story, you have to understand that your audience is not everybody. Not everybody is going to be 150 IQ. Not everybody's going to remember everything. But that is the author's job, to drop breadcrumbs and remind you every now and then that, hey, this is a thing, this is a thing, this is a thing. But you don't have to do it in a super huge way. But Coon using a spell with white one time years ago, I didn't bother to go look up how many years ago it was. If you're expecting people to remember that, without even giving us an inkling that Coon had legit interest in learning to cast spells and become a spellcaster in a battle scenario, not just for learning, a battle scenario, this would have worked out perfectly. But it's such a random thing to come about this chapter that it doesn't make sense. Like, does it make sense when you go back and look and possibly understand that off screen, maybe he got the details and he picked it up? Okay, even if I give you that, this shit was not planned. Not only that, did anybody notice, and none of you have mentioned this, I've never, in all the discussions I've read, nobody has mentioned this. The firefish came out on its own. Coon did not summon it. He did not plan for it. It came out on its own. And he did the spell then. And even if I accept that it popped out on its own and he just remembers the spell and casts it, the punishment for the spell was supposed to be that he's supposed to die. But he gets saved by a cold feeling. Now, could it be something regarding his ice powers? Yes, that's cool. But even bringing out a hack power, and yes, this is a hack power. People have had problems with the firefish since it was introduced because it is so ambiguous that you can't necessarily nail down what its exact abilities is. And when you can, it does shit like this. People have problems with that. I personally don't even have a huge problem with it, because I know it exists. But it has to exist in a way where if at least he's gonna use it, be punished for it. He doesn't get punished for it. He just uses it. And we're not going to get an explanation on why he didn't get punished for it. Because when do we get explanations on these things? It takes a very long time. If we can go 7 years without an explanation on Rack's transformation, you don't think we can go another year or two without an explanation on his transformation? It leaves a bad taste. Okay? And I also have to cover that I don't know if anybody realizes this, but within 3 chapters, we got a power up of high ranker level capacity for both Coon and Rack. Like, guys, no, absolutely not. Like, you know why this doesn't work? Because we haven't gotten enough crumbs to accept this. Now, can you do it? Yes. One Piece, I reference this all the time as a good example. I'm critical of One Piece too. I am notoriously known for saying that Wano was ass. Okay? Was Wano ass because it had bad writing? No, it was ass because the time frame sucked. and I didn't think the seriousness of it was serious enough. But it's a shonen, so I get it. People don't die in shonens. However, the execution of certain shit, especially power-ups, was good. Sanji and Zoro got power-ups a few chapters within each other. But we had inklings that Zoro possibly had Conqueror's Haki for years. We had inklings that Sanji was already a cyborg. He was born and made the same as his brothers and sisters. His just didn't work the same way for whatever reason. But it popped up here. Nobody had a problem with these things, guys. There were breadcrumbs left enough to make people remember that these are possible things. There was interest in these things. We got backgrounds about these things. That is how you do a power-up. This is this power-up for Kun and Rack is the same as Dragon Ball Super Caulifla saying that she feels a fucking tingling sensation in her back to go Super Saiyan 2. After we watched Gohan literally watched his friend Super 16 get stomped out to death. His friends and family get beat. They didn't die, but got beat to damn near an inch of their life. Vegeta giving up his pride, getting captured to go Super Saiyan. We watched so many emotional things happen to these people for them to get these power-ups. Rack was an emotional power-up, but it was not executed well. Okay. Longest monologue I've ever had to enter a chapter review. Now we get to the nitty-gritty of things. And guys, the problems I have this chapter are not over. They're not over. Okay? We're diving into it now. So we begin with Bomb showing up on the battlefield, where he's going to go against Dumas. We already know this. With Kun and Rack on his back. Dumas immediately goes in and causes pressure. Okay? Bomb backs up, escapes, and says that he feels like if Dumas wanted to kill him, he could. I'm sorry, but when you preface the dangers of a situation of your life being threatened, I think it's time to be serious about it. Now, my biggest gripe this chapter, besides the Kun stuff, Bomb runs at Dumas with no plan. Just support from Kun and Rack, which can be anything, but does not pop his storm. This is not a branch head. This is not Ren. This is not some random high ranker. You watched Dumas clean Jinsong the fuck up. You watched Dumas get punched by Yama, Karaka, Jinsong, and tank their shit like they were nothing. You don't pop the thorn until Kun and Rack are potentially dead. Mind you, why is Kun surprised that his shield breaks? El Baba broke your shield. You literally just watched Dumas clean up 2 branch heads and you tell Bomb this. I'm trying to compute some of this stuff, guys. It's just like, this is the kind of stuff, and I understand some of that is nitpicky. I can get that argument, but it's the consistency of making sense. Like, nobody here expected Kun to be able to block it, but for him to act like he could when he's a C rank regular is a joke. Okay? Power scaling. It's a power scaling issue. Whatever. My problem is that Bomb doesn't get serious. Bomb doesn't pop his storm until Kun and Rack are in danger. But before that, he gets cleaned the fuck up by Dumas. Why is Bomb getting nerfed? Now, a lot of people are coping saying that Bomb didn't have time. Bomb didn't have time. Bomb didn't have time. Bomb got reset. He got attacked and he got reset. He had time to pop his storm. Did he have time for a complete transformation? Maybe not. But he had time to prepare himself to go in with a more aggressive approach. This is Dumas. This is not a branch head. It's Dumas. The seriousness of this drops. But again, I've read some really good opinions that it's this save a Bomb factor that you try to make your side characters relevant, with both Rack having to do so and now Kun having to do so. Make them relevant, make these regulars who aren't irregulars relevant in the fight, being able to do some nonsensical shit. But it's the execution. It's not that they're side characters and they can't have power-ups. It's the execution. So I go back to this to say, we get the spell, we get the firefish that pops out randomly. With Kun knowing this spell, it leaves a bad taste. Because not only is the nature of the spell to absorb souls to get stronger, it gives Kun a similar ability to Bomb, where he could absorb souls and get stronger. So now we have two people who can absorb things to get stronger. Now, is it the same level of Bomb? No. But Kun being able to get high ranker level by absorbing souls, an ability that he stole from White, it doesn't sound good. Like, you don't have to make Kun a fighter. Kun has always been a strategist. But him trying to consume Dumas's abilities, Kun possibly becoming, I mean, granted, I don't think he could. He probably would have died if he consumed the power. I hope that's what they were getting at with this chapter. But it's the fact that he can do it, and almost at the cost of nothing, with the firefish not burning him alive. But it's not, and then to add insult to injury, I just don't understand the power scaling of things. Because I'm diving into that scenario where this spell is able to hold down a high ranker like Dumas. Now again, it's power scaling. You guys can frame it how you want. You can say that it makes sense in terms of power. To me, it doesn't. And that's something we can definitely argue about. But I don't think a C rank regular spell, even if absorbed by a high ranker's energy, coupled with this broken firefish, makes much sense. It's Deus Machina X. It is. This ability, that's why I said the firefish is ambiguous. It can almost do anything. But an ability like that in the hands of Kun, and he's not suffering penalties for it. Now granted, he can suffer a penalty in the next chapter. Maybe, but I don't think so. Because it looks like he survived it with no problem, and we're not probably going to get any inkling of this. In my honest, if I can give my predictions now, I think that Gustang shows up next chapter if Dumas is getting ran down on by Bomb. Because of course now Bomb's going to get serious. And I've had people saying that, oh, Bomb didn't go serious because they were trying to get to the real body. Where did you guys see Bomb, Kun, and Rack discuss getting to Dumas's real body? Nobody saw that, okay? And I'm not throwing shade on any of you guys in my Discord. I love you guys. It's making up these scenarios and creating extra panels where there are none. This was not planned. Getting to Dumas's body was not planned. So that being the excuse for Bomb not being serious is absolute trash, okay? It didn't happen, okay? This was their goal was not to get to the other world to fight him, okay? It just happened that way. But is Bomb gonna go serious now? Of course he is. Of course he is. But and if he doesn't, then ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing the fall of Tower of God live, because it cannot be anything else by now. Dumas's real design is cool, okay? That's about it. I also think that it's cool that, you know, well, I don't really like that Dumas is not a real being. I mean, that's just one of those things, right? I mean, and it's also the issue I was talking about earlier with, you have so many narratives and so many things going on. Why does it seem like the Pobidu have half their family are all, at least the high arc librarians are all artificial beings with Gustang's power? Like, what's the deal with that? People have infamously said that Tower God has too many plots and too many narratives to remember. That's all I have for this, guys. The chapter is not the worst this year. It's honestly a 6 out of 10. I think that's about accurate, and because the art with the fire is pretty good. I like Dumas's design. I just don't like the nerfing of Bomb, making him look bad. I don't necessarily like the spell stuff, but I could have accepted it if it was prefaced or given to us over time. But it's funny watching Naya stream, and I don't even like to insult people, calling people dick riders. I don't like to say things like that. But it's the same thing I've seen people do for Oda over the years when he does some mid shit. It's just like, these people can do no wrong because they write the series. And that's a false equivalent, guys. It's just like you going to your favorite chef and he making something bad and he could do no wrong because he made something bad for the first time. Like, no, if it's nasty, it's nasty, bro. Now, is the most of his shit good? Yes, but if it's nasty, it's nasty. So chapter 6 out of 10, it's not the worst this year. It's just that it's built upon a certain way that we're going about things with power scaling issue, inconsistency issue, and power-ups not being executed well. So I'm sorry if this was a negative video for you guys. I don't like to do this. And feel free to leave your comments, because I know there will be some pretty juicy, thick ones here. And the stream will be on Thursday per usual. So that's all I got for you guys this week, alright? If you are looking for other content on this channel, I do Harry Potter content. So click this video in the description or on this channel somewhere that's about Remus Lupin, and why he was the saddest and most well-written character in all of Harry Potter. So click that video, watch it, maybe you'll enjoy it, or while you're working or cleaning or something. Till then, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Peace.